TrekWars, Duels Across the Stars. Episode 13. I always have Alderaan.
Olympus has returned to his home planet of Andoria in an attempt to rescue his beloved Olympia from the clutches of Darth Jar Jar. Little does Olympus and his padawan Ben Colonel know that Olympia is a secret researcher for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and plans to invite them to rank the guide's top 5 planets of the Star Trek and Star Wars galaxies. Boba Fett, former bounty hunter, is utilising the infamous ship Slave One to chase down the guide and secure this planetary knowledge for himself to select his new home where he can retire in peace.
Hello there and welcome to episode 13, can you believe it, of TrekWars Duels Across the Stars. I am Olympus.
And I'm Ben Kerno. And we've got a lovely guest here who has just done the crawl for us. So welcome, Olympia.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Lovely to have you. Single take as well on the crawl, you're showing me up.
Always. I had a wee slight hiccup, but...
What's all that in editing?
No, thank you for coming. And today we are ranking the top 5 planets from Star Trek and Star Wars. With all three of us coming up with our own top 5 lists. Do we know in advance what each other are voting on?
We do not. No, we do not share our picks with each other. It helps add to the mystery and the surprise. And what do you call it? It always I find gives a more genuine response from us all, and it does mean, guys, that the reactions that you get from each of us are genuine. We've not had time to actually think about any. Now, I will put my hands up. That is the normal rule for these. I do not know Ben's. Ben does not know mine. I have seen Olympia's list because we were talking about it earlier. Because I know. I'm sorry. I cannot remember 3 out of 5 of them. I can only remember 2. And I cannot remember the order either. It was just a glimpse on the list I saw by accident. The joys of living together. So sorry. But yeah, mostly still a secret for me. And I don't know Ben's. I know nothing about Ben's. And do you know Ben's? Has Ben been talking to you in the background?
Yeah, we've been having a secret meeting without you and discussing all of our options.
Traitors.
I know. No, I do not know Ben's, and I don't know yours either.
Yes. That's pretty good.
Well, that's different. We're allowed to guess each other. Like we're allowed to have what is it you sometimes do, Ben? You sometimes predict what my choices are going to be, don't you?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it is, but there was definitely one where I had a few, and you had one, but the rest were on your shortlist, and it was like, Yeah. But if anybody at home has their own top 5 or even top 2 or top 50, please put it in chat, and I'd love to hear what you all got, what your favourite planets are from these universes.
Absolutely. And please do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button for us as well. Your views mean so much to us, but those extra likes and subscribes would really mean the world too. So thank you in advance for that.
Thank you. So, one thing we do before this at the beginning is give our rules and rules of acquisition, or our Sith code or Jedi code, or our Pixar. Olympia, did you know about this?
Yes, first I'd let you know that we have a set your own rules rule. You got a rules rule.
A rules rule. I like it.
Rules rule.
That's it. Oh, did you make your own one?
Anyway. Yes. So my rule was basically any Star Trek, Star Wars planet that had been in a TV show, movie, or video game.
Nice.
Or mentioned, and it didn't have to actually appear. It just had to be mentioned.
Ooh.
Or discussed.
Okay.
You got me intrigued on that one.
Me too.
Wow.
Well, you're here, Olympus. Did you have any rules and regulations?
Just one for me. it has to be from either Star Trek or Star Wars. Nothing from any other form of media. I know I sometimes like to throw in little random ones from different TV shows or movies occasionally, but no, today is purely Star Trek or Star Wars for me. How about you, Ben?
Fair enough. I didn't really have many rules. Um, okay, I excluded moons, but they probably wouldn't have got on my list anyway. I did also include Death Stars as well.
Damn it! I was just about to say something about that.
um, and I have excluded anything in the solar system, in our own solar system. I know it doesn't appear in Star Wars, but in Star Trek, you have Earth, Mars appeared, the Moon, and any.
Venus.
I think
We've
Venus.
had Venus,
Yeah.
and we've had. Actually, I think we've had Jupiter and Saturn as well.
Have we?
Oh, probably in a rolling on a film. I think one of the films you've definitely.
Saturn appears in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the I could be talking rubbish here, but I'm pretty sure it's the rings of Saturn where they hide the base where they're building that giant
Did they not
ship.
look round to do the slingshot thing to send them back in time? Was that not off of Saturn's rings?
Oh no, that was the sun.
That was the sun. Oh, I could have sworn it was Saturn, but sure.
I think there's something to do.
There was something to do with them having to go out to a planet and back. Oh. I'm pretty sure it's Enterprise Season 1, Episode 1, where they mentioned that they were taking the ship out for a wee trip just to Jupiter and back.
There you go.
There we are.
You're right. That is what it is.
Yeah, and actually thinking about it, I don't know if it's Saturn or Jupiter, but one of the moons I'm sure have been mentioned as well. But I'm just trying to remember. No, but anyway, inside
I
tracked.
think you're right. But yes, we are. Digressions. We love them.
That's good. Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah, no, very true. And my simple rule was I had to find the planet interesting. Or I nearly said somewhere I'd go on holiday, but probably half of these I wouldn't really want to go on holiday, and you'll probably find out reasons why later. But they either so when I pick out somewhere on holiday, it either has to look nice or have a lot of history or architecture like that. So I've been to Rome, for example, or Istanbul, which has a lot of history, or I've been to the Lake District before, which has a lot of rolling hills and lakes and stuff. I've even been somewhere up your way, which is Edinburgh. Lovely, beautiful city.
My favourite city in Scotland.
Just 20 minutes down the road from us.
Yep, not far away at all.
Yeah, so yeah, it's, to be honest, it is my favourite Scottish city, but I've only been in two, so yeah.
And if the other one was Glasgow, I'm not surprised you prefer Edinburgh. No offence to any Glaswegians watching or listening to us. Sorry, not
They do
sorry.
have better football teams, so
They do have better football teams, I'll give you that.
fair enough. But anyway, that's my rules and regulations, so
Fantastic.
I'll explain the details when I get to them.
No worries. So, who goes first today? Will will that special guest go first?
Ooh,
Yeah,
right,
why not? Go
first.
for it.
Okay, so I'll start at the bottom of my list, and I will just say first of all, there is no Star Wars on my list. I know.
I knew. I should have known this going in. You're not a big Star Wars fan, are you?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing SOTOR, and I would say Alderaan is beautiful, and I love playing SOTOR because the music on that planet is just so relaxing and soothing, and I love it, but the planet didn't make my list.
Dang.
Close, it would have been sixth. Just missed on the list. So
Unfortunately, it is a top 5, so no Alderaan on your list then.
no Alderaan on my list.
So, what's your number 5?
Alastria.
Alastria. Oh, what
You've got
what
me on
movies?
this one
What
as well, I shouldn't
movies?
say that.
Not movies. What shows that from?
I'm going to guess either TNG or...
It's not TNG.
Not TNG.
It's not the S. It's got to be Voyager or Enterprise.
It is Voyager, yes. It's from the episode Prime Factors.
Prime. The Prime Factor. So that's the episode where they come across the aliens who want to do nothing but please them, and they have the technology to take them home, and they're on the opposite side of the Prime Directive.
Yes, I know that one, and yeah, they get mentioned in Picard actually with
Do they?
the device to help move the Borg further forward. They assimilated at least some of them, and it was a device to help. I can't remember if it was to move the Borg Queen or whether to move the Borg cube as a whole.
Oh, was
I
that the
can't remember,
device that moved Picard and what's her name to Nepenthe?
Asha. Yes, yeah,
Right, okay, I'm with you.
that's the one. Yeah,
But yeah,
well, yeah, it was that thing.
I totally missed that was related to the Alastrians.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think it's really nice. I think the planet's beautiful. The bits that you do see of it, and especially when she uses it and sends them to the other kind of part of the planet, that's beautiful and so chilled and relaxing. And I just think it is really quite nice and somewhere I would like to go visit. So yeah,
Oh, I agree.
Well, who wouldn't want to visit a planet where they're
everybody just wants to please you.
exactly, they just want to make you happy all the time?
Yeah, and I think the
Oh.
fact that they wanted to trade for stories, because they did in the episode obviously try and steal the tech and incorporate it
Oh,
into
yeah.
the ship, and they traded stories, and I think that's just so lovely that they didn't want they didn't want like money or anything like that. They just wanted your stories, which I thought was really nice.
I love that. I love that.
Me too.
I realise I'm missing most of my lists is ones where I actually wouldn't mind staying for a long period of time.
Indeed.
There I would.
Yeah, me too. I hadn't thought of Alastria, and I would love to stay there too.
There you go, my number 5.
Thank you. Ben, would you like to go next?
Oh, let's go on then. This one you wouldn't actually want to walk physically on the planet itself, and that is Bespin, aka where Cloud City is. It's a gas giant, and the cities are in this there. Which I can't remember if it has a bit of. It must have a bit of oxygen in it because you land on the platform. When Han Solo comes to meet his friend,
Yeah.
his friend Lando Calrissian, and it is they're mining the atmosphere there. But I found this unusual. I'd just like to visit just to see it be in this city up in the sky above this planet. And it's just like, even if it's a mining colony or something like that, it's. I have a thing also for the architecture inside the Cloud City, where it's like the whiteness of. There, okay, it reminds me of old sci-fi, but still, it gets to me, and I like it.
No, it is. It's lovely. Camino's another one that reminds me of that kind of aesthetic, as you mentioned it there. That clean whiteness.
And to be honest, as long as Darth Vader doesn't turn up when I'm there, I'm happy.
Then you're good.
To be honest.
Absolutely. And who knows,
Yeah.
if he does turn up, he might invite you to dinner.
Very true.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't end with you in carbonite though. What a lovely pick. Again, a planet I had not thought of. It's absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. I love watching it in the movie, but I also loved playing a game there as well. I'm trying to remember. I could be wrong here. I don't think it's in the recent Battlefront 2. I could be wrong. Maybe it is, but I'm sure I remember playing it in one of the old Battlefront games. And I loved it every time I got to go there.
Yeah. No, and I don't know if I can remember it from the Lego games. So this was the one for the Wii. So this was the first 2 trilogies. This only had on this, but I can't remember watching that there. But this is the only one. No, it's not the only one just from the films actually, but it's pretty. I would love to sit at a window just looking over the planet. So.
No, absolutely. And actually, the colour that you've got on the poster behind you with the Millennium Falcon, that sort of orangey pinky hue on the left-hand side, that reminds me a little bit. I think the colours on Bespin are a little bit lighter shade than that, but that reminds me a bit of Bespin.
Yeah, from what I've looked, it's a bit more browner, but yeah, I've seen a couple of pictures that could easily be Bespin for all I know. but high up in the clouds, and I love it. Yeah, so that's my number 5 pick.
Beautiful, thank you. On to mine. So my number 5, I've actually mentioned it already, and I didn't mean to. My number 5 comes from Star Trek Picard. It is the home of Riker, Troy, and their little family. In season 1, the Penthe, which is this. Picard beams into it off of the Borg cube, or the artifact as they called it on that show, and he beams into this lovely forest setting, and is absconded right away by a youth dressed up in something that reminded me of Robin Hood. It brought me back to that episode of TNG where Q puts them into Sherwood Forest.
Yes.
It reminds me just of that. It's a lovely introduction to Troy and Riker's child. But the whole setting, that forest view, you're walking through it. I love walking through forests and whatnot. So
You do, yeah. A kind of chilled mountain getaway through the forest, cabin in the woods.
yeah,
Which in Star Trek works really and it's beautiful, but in most movies you got
You're
Star Trek
right.
movie style.
you're right. But you don't get that feeling on Star Trek.
No, it's very zen, and I could
Cozy,
see-
calm.
I could see me living there,
Yeah.
with your bunny corn pizza.
Yes, bunny corn
Oh,
pizza.
goodness.
That's it.
Oh,
That's it. So yes.
I don't know if I'd want them for pizza, but bear in mind this is coming from a meat eater, so I can't say much. But I don't think I could get myself to kill a bunny corn.
No, neither did I.
Don't know. It depends how tasty they are. I do like pizza. So yes, bunny corn pizzas. Life in a cabin in the woods. That's my number 5 on the Penthe.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I miss the Picard series. I know some people didn't like it, but
I loved it.
I loved it.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm you know me. I'm a devout TNG fan through and through. It's my favorite series. So, getting those 3 seasons of Picard was a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
Oh, agree.
I apologise
Agree.
for the yawning, by the way. It's been a really long day.
That's I'll forgive you this once.
There you go. You don't get to yawn the rest of the episode.
Oh, no.
And on that note, what's your number 4?
What's your...
My number 4. Okay, so I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but I think I am. Tahal Miraj.
Tahal Miraj. Pass. I couldn't even hazard a guess. Sorry, Ben.
2 times in a row. Yeah, I was going to say, how the heck have you managed to get 2 times in a row where I don't recognise the names? Okay, I recognise the episode for the first one, but... Good.
Would you like a hint?
Go on then.
Voyager.
Okay.
No, still pass.
It's not from a holodeck episode, is it?
It's not a holodeck episode, no.
I was going to say, is it from like the Bride of Chaotica, but that's Planet
Planet
X.
Let me...
And they all look the same.
Are you pulling up a wee interwebby thing now?
Nope.
What are you doing? I'm looking over her shoulder. I'm curious.
The name of the actor that was in the episode...
You're gonna have to tell us eventually.
I am going to have to tell you eventually, but I just want to see
like
if
the
you can
suspense.
figure it out. Can't even remember what season it was. That's terrible. I know the episode and I don't know the season.
What was the episode?
The
That's a
episode was Blink of an Eye.
Oh, Ben's got it,
Yes.
and I'm still
Yes.
like, what?
I was supposed to mention that in our a special of for First Contact Day. I was meant to mention that episode.
Oh, really?
And the later thing, and I completely forgot about it until you said something, and I said, I will mention it in the episode at the end where we tell our the ex that nearly made it. So, but I love that episode. Isn't that one where the planet is going faster?
Yes,
Or the planet's
that
going
is the
faster
one.
than the rest of the universe, and you can actually watch they were watching it on Voyager Center, where they were watching
Oh,
world set or decades happen, centuries happen within seconds or minutes.
Yeah.
minutes.
There.
It was a season 6 episode. I really didn't think it was that late into it.
There
But
you
it was
go.
in
Yeah, I
season
can't think of
6.
7 in that.
I did not remember that at all until you just explained that, Ben. That was
And
a
I was like-
brilliant episode.
Daniel Day Kim was in it.
Daniel Day Kim. Is that not the guy from Lost?
Yes.
Cool. I know who you're talking about.
So he was in the episode and he comes to Voyager and you get to see him and they can't really communicate. I like that they kind of the people from the planet came to Voyager and then couldn't communicate with them and they couldn't communicate and then eventually they found a way to sync their times together so they could talk. And you see him at the end as an old wee man sitting on his planet waving goodbye to Voyager.
Oh.
Not quite literally waving at them, but you know what I mean, like you see him. I just thought it was really cool because you get to see the evolution of this planet and Voyager like, shit, what are we going to do here?
Yeah, imagine Amelia Earhart's thinking of Voyager. Suddenly that touching down on a runway at Edinburgh Airport or Heathrow or something. It's like having a laugh, aren't you? Yeah, definitely not Amelia Earhart.
You have computers on your hands. She probably actually to be fair. I mean, when did Amelia Earhart disappear?
Was it the 30s or the 40s? I think.
So computers were still like giant machines in factories and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and most people probably wouldn't even know it was a thing.
No.
It was probably a thing in sci-fi and some of the sci-fi things possibly,
And that would have been it.
Yeah. But no, I love that, and yeah, as you said, when the person played by Daniel Day Kim, I forgot his name, so that came onto the planet with the other pilots, and just they sort of phased out and then collapsed, and it was like trying to sync the times. It was an emotional one. I would love to actually be in Voyager watching this as well.
Yeah, same. I don't think I'd want to visit the planet. I don't fancy like if it was a case of visiting the planet and leaving again, I really wouldn't want to do that because I'd be out of step with the rest of.
Yeah, your people and your time. And...
Yeah, it would feel weird. Although that would kind of be in reverse if you went down and then been back up. It would be like seconds that you've been away, kind of thing. But that would have to be no, it wouldn't work. See, I'm getting confused right away just trying to think about how this would work.
Yeah. They sent the doctor down, didn't they? So
100 years on the planet is like an hour on Voyager.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't fancy going down there.
No, I mean, I liked it for the episode and the whole seeing the evolution of the planet and things.
And I love the uniqueness of that whole situation. It's something that even in Trek I'd never really heard of before. So it's an absolutely phenomenal pick.
Thank you.
No, I completely agree that there's 2 planets from the Voyager, that one and one where Tuvok and Paris were on, where you went into that almost bowl that you couldn't come back out of.
Oh,
but it's like a completely unique planet.
What one's that, Ben?
I cannot remember what the planet's called, to be honest.
No, that's fine.
But I'm terrible with episode names, and
you're better than me.
I remember the gist of the episodes, and that's it. If you name the episode, I'll probably go, "Oh yes." But yeah, no, those are definitely 2 unique worlds that I don't really have. One of them is in my one is semi unique, but it's not really unique in most of my picks. So, I love it.
And on that note, I guess if there's nothing else on yours, we'll move on to Ben's.
Okay, I'm going to go to another one that's mentioned already, and that is Alderaan. This is mainly from the Star Wars: The Old Republic game.
Yeah.
But it did get briefly mentioned or shown in the Obi-Wan TV series, and of course blown up in the in A New Hope.
I was going to say, yeah, it was seen even briefer in A New Hope when it was first introduced.
First introduced, yeah. Uh, this one is. I'm going to immediately go for the game and then refer occasionally to Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
It is a massive planet that is green, mountains in the hills. You've got these beautiful. I'm not going to call temples. They're houses. They call them the house. They go on a house. Old and I forgot the rest of the family is off the top of my head, but yeah, they're almost fighting in civil war over who runs the planets. And one of the things I can remember in the game is hunting datacrons, and they're some of the most fun datacron hunts that I've gone on. They're not necessarily the most difficult, but there's some of them are unique and different in the way you do them. One of them, yeah, you have to go into these old houses, you find a secret door, quite a little bit of stuff. The other one is on top of a dam, which I believe you can climb up, but you get this little thing that can pull you up.
Yeah, I've not worked out how to get up to that one yet. I've still not collected that one, I don't think. You'll need to help me one day.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it's a fun one, and actually, when you get to the TV series where you see the things, you still the Organas, you could still got the cliffs, the mountains in the distance. You've got some beautiful lakes. You got these. I don't know how to describe them. They're not quite like tower blocks like you have in Coruscant. They're sort of like
Spires?
their own first. Pardon?
Would you call it maybe a spire? I'm trying to
Maybe,
imagine what you've
cross
done.
between a spire and a tower block.
Yeah.
It was almost looks like if you put some of the spaceships up from Earth into the thing and make them into the buildings. That's what they would be. And it is and in the game of Star Wars: The Old Republic, it is a big area you can explore. Even if you just do the stories, you do not cover the whole of the map. It's unbelievable. And there was one bit there. I was in a guild there, and I was organising an event. It was like basically I was trying to come up with ideas, either races or come find me, so hide and seek things. And I actually managed to climb up on this thing. I think I showed Olympus this, where you actually go off the map and you can get on top of this mountain. You look one way and you can see all over the scene on the map. Look the other way and it's like, is that a lake? No, it's just a map ends. If you just go off the edge, it's like you disappear. And
it sounds utterly bizarre, but Ben took me there a couple of weeks back, and it's so unreal because obviously you're not meant to be able to access those kinds of areas, and they've obviously left it there for eager explorers to find. But it's very difficult. It's like it's like unfinished terrain and jagged bits, and it's very difficult. It's almost like it just falls into nothingness, isn't it? But it's not black. It's really difficult to describe.
Yeah, you've got a bit of cloud there, and you can see the scenery behind that you're supposed to see from the ground. And and then it's just like
weird. That sounds very interesting. I do agree with the Ben. I love Alderaan as a planet to visit and sort of one of my favourite ones to be on.
Yeah. And it is one of my favourite ones. Not my favourite one.
No, which is why it's been in number 4.
Yeah. So, that's my number 4 pick. So, unless anybody has anything else to add to that,
I'll just add what you and Olympia have already said, which is the music when you're playing the Old Republic on Alderaan is just so peaceful and lovely. It's one of those planets I love to just drop into and just chill out on. In a very similar way to Manan, if you go to the Manan stronghold.
It's one that you could stand on that planet in the game and listen to the music and just sit and meditate to. Chill and zen out to.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
So actually, one thing I have not mentioned, and I don't know if this is in canon or not, but the Killix.
Yes.
You on on this planet, so at least in Star Wars: The Old Republic, they have these giant bug nests, and these are, basically giant bugs that can actually take over. Something about them can take over, like humans, for example. I've never seen it in a non-human, but possibly other species as well, and basically have this joint symbiotic relationship with um, Killix, and it, it's a weird kind of alien. It's a you don't always have many bug aliens in the these franchises. I can think of two others off the top of my head, but there's not many sentient species, and it's like that's unusual. And then combining with other species to make a almost a new species in itself. But
Like somebody took
humans
these
with a
Indian
hive
trill
mind.
and mixed them together.
Kind of, yeah. It's a kind of mix between the Indian and the Trill. I like that.
So that was my number 4 pick, Alderaan.
Lovely pick, mate. Absolutely beautiful. It's a shame that it is no more.
It is.
But we will always have Alderaan.
We will. So shall we go back to your side of the camera and go to Olympus? And is your number 4 pick?
Yes, my number 4 is the capital of the Republic in Star Wars. We are going to Coruscant.
Really?
Yes.
Yay!
Yes, what's wrong with Coruscant? Oh, I'll give you a I'm not talking Star Wars: The Old Republic. I've never really got a great vibe of Coruscant on there.
That's really mad.
If you take the original, not the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, and how you see Coruscant displayed there, as well as in shows like Andor, this beautiful megapolis of shining towers, and basically the entire planet's just one big city, and it's utterly beautiful, golden sci-fi at its absolute finest. And if you move away from that for a second, you also get a beautiful view like that in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the video game, which really brings that to life too. So they're utterly gorgeous, and there are elements of Coruscant in the Old Republic like I love, like seeing the inside of the semi-destroyed Jedi temple at the time, which I think is something beautiful.
That are nice. It's just for me, the video game side of it, I always found I was like, oh, Coruscant game.
But that's because you're only knowing Star Wars: The Old Republic's version of it, and none of the other ones. The other side of Coruscant I like, which you start to see little bits of in, again, some different game media, and also a couple of shows like the tail end of the Clone Wars, is the almost, I'd probably call it the Undercity of Coruscant. It's a lot darker, dingier, more lower class. So it really shows you the flip side of the coin to what is portrayed on the upper level of Coruscant, which I think is equally beautiful too. And of course, it's the heart of the Republic Senate. It's where the battle, well, multiple battles across Coruscant have happened in the past, including the Battle for Coruscant in the Old Republic era, the battle over Coruscant for Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when they tried to kidnap the Chancellor. And then, of course, the sacking of Coruscant was one I just thought of. In the Old Republic, it's the Order 66 scenario all kicked off from Coruscant too. So lots and lots of drama. Lots of politics too. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of the politics of Star Wars. I am. I quite like it, but there you go. So, lots and lots happening, and of course, it's also home to the Jedi Temple. If we forget Tython for a moment, that's the Jedi's home for probably close to millennia. So, yes, that's my number 4 pick.
Okay.
Oh no, I do like it. I would love, from our perspective on Earth, despite even going to, and bless you.
Thank you.
And actually, coming from a perspective of living on Earth as we do. Where, okay, I've been to Istanbul, as I said, which is a massive city. It took hours to get from one side to the other. I think it's well over 15, 16 million people when I went there, and that was 10, 15 years ago. And I thought that was big. I would just love to visit one of these big planet-sized cities and see it. And what was it? Was it Andor where they had them at the top, and they were at the top of the mountain, which was just peeking up top, and it was the biggest range in that planet. And if that range is as big as the one on Earth, which is the Himalayas, that's 20,000 feet, I think, and higher. And how that I can't believe being that high and being on a stable building. It's wow. I'd just love to visit.
Very. And absolutely magnificent. I agree. I'd love to visit a planet like Coruscant.
I would. Can you imagine if they had an earthquake and a building collapsed?
Oh God.
I'm just going to assume that there's like safety precautions in place. It's all sci-fi, so I'm sure that it's very stable.
They blow up an entire planet, and you think a city planet's going to be safe.
Well, they're not gonna be able to defend themselves against a Death Star, but nothing can. So.
All right. Okay.
You just keep to your trickiness.
I am the supreme trickiness.
Indeed. So yes, that's my number 4.
Oh, cool. And we got to make sure we don't have any death sticks, and going to Dex's Diner is a must as well.
Absolutely must visit, yes, to Dex's Diner. Especially if you want some Java juice.
Anywhere with food's good with me, especially if it's sweets.
Yes, Olympia's a sweet tooth.
Very much so.
Yeah. And moving on to you. Sorry, Ben.
Oh, that's right, go ahead, Olympia.
Okay, so my number 3 pick, and I'm doing something you've told me you've done in the past that's quite controversial. I'm going outside the Star Trek universe, and I've gone with something from the Orville.
I love the Orville.
Love the Orville. So I went with the Sanctuary. Ooh, I love when I can stump him.
That's a third pick in a row. How are you doing this?
Because I'm awesome. Or evil.
Oh, the Sanctuary.
For those who are keeping track at home, I still haven't watched the Orville yet, and I've still got to.
It's a must watch.
Yeah. And every time, at least I'm having a different person telling me that it's a must watch this time.
True,
it's not,
true.
So it must be from Hidden Frequencies.
I honestly did not think I would like the Orville. I love Star Trek so much, and it was kind of put out as like a parody, and I thought, I'm not going to enjoy this. And he's like, please just try, please. And I think after like 2 episodes, I was kind of hooked on it. And now I'm like, please renew it for a season 4, please. So if anybody out there is listening, please renew it. Because it's so good.
So, what's the Sanctuary?
The Sanctuary is where Havina takes the female Moclans so they can escape being
okay.
gender reassigned or corrected, as they call it. So she takes all these women away so that they can live their life and be who they are without having to pretend to be something they're not or be changed, and they're just living their best life. And the fireflies are cute.
The fireflies are gorgeous. Ben.
Yeah, animals. So what's the planet like, out of curiosity? Because I have no idea.
So you don't see a lot of it. The bit that you do see, you kind of see the village where all the people are living, and there's kind of beautiful forest around it, and Topaz goes out and explores, and you see these trees and these beautiful glowy blugs. What's a blug?
I don't know, but I've just realised it's another cabin in the woods in a sci-fi show.
No, it's a village of cabins.
Okay, a village of cabins in the woods in a sci-fi show. We love these types of planets.
It's just so nice that they've got this beautiful nature around them. They've got everything they need, and I like that. I think the biggest draw to it is Dolly Parton, because you hear her music playing, and she's actually stars in an episode of the Orville. Not that one, but she does star in one of the episodes.
She does, and I think you were mentioning a little bit earlier, Ben. I have brought this up in a previous episode. This exact
You
planet.
have.
It was about the episode itself, wasn't it? What episode was that? Oh,
What did we do with? Yeah, as I said, it
was
was
it
with.
species? Or no, it must have been
No, it wasn't underrated species, was it?
no.
Okay.
It will come back to me. Um,
I'll come back to him at 1 a.m.
yeah, but
That was what it is.
it's a brilliant episode. It is a gorgeous planet. It's one of those foresty scenarios that I described earlier on. But the fireflies are utterly unique. All these multicolored fireflies they're gorgeous.
Wow, I would love to see that. So yeah, again,
I'll
another
watch the
reason for
Orphan
me to
Well.
watch the yeah. Yeah, I look forward to that. That I will have to watch that at some point. I suppose the number 3 picks me, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yes.
Drum roll.
Yay! So this one here is the architectures on the surface is almost Romanesque or Greek-esque in a way. There's waterfalls everywhere, lakes, or at least in the parts you see. The people are passionate, or at least the Queen's fashion is top notch. And then there's the underwater cities, so almost their own domes that you can swim in. And
Minute?
I know where we are. No, it's not Manan.
No?
No.
it's not Mananana,
Well, I
have to
guess
say
so.
that,
Will you
sorry.
tell us?
And it is the home world of Jar Jar Binks, Naboo. It's again, it's a gorgeous looking planet. It's got the greenery, it's got the lakes where again some lovely domed cities underneath there. I would love to go to an underwater city. Some amazing
I
creatures
must
under
say, I
there.
think that would be beautiful. I'd like that.
Yeah, again, you have like the pillars and the domes you see on some of the buildings around Naboo. It just looks somewhere I'd like to relax, and that's probably the only one I could actually probably sit in and be happy for a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, not have to worry about killers or working on a mining colony. Or I can also or and I'll explain the other two when I
But
get
you
to
have
it.
to put up with Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, the Gungans. That's the only issue.
Yeah, I could, but yeah, I'm hoping they're just not a monotone species and they have other people that are not.
Yeah,
Like,
not as silly. I'm pretty sure most of the Gungans are relatively sensible, actually. Jar Jar just seems to be a little bit loopy.
Every species has the loopy one.
They do indeed.
Every TV
Yeah.
show has the loopy one.
You need it.
Yeah, quite right.
Again, we mentioned that in the previous episode. It's like you had C-3PO in Star Wars, who's brilliant comic relief, and it's like they tried to do a little bit more of that with Jar Jar, and maybe just took it a step too far, which was a real shame.
Yeah. To be honest, most shows or films they have, or at least most films they have that person or droid, whether that's the Ewoks or, as you said, C-3PO, to be that oddity, or that almost joke, but. Yeah, sometimes they get it better than it. Sometimes they get it more spot on than others. But
And you know what, Naboo again. By the way, phenomenal pick. An absolutely beautiful planet, and you mentioned the beautiful architecture on the cities on the surface, but the architecture of this the spaceships and the starships is absolutely beautiful as well. If you think about the sleek silver royal ship, the I wrote this down the other day on the Twitter post. The J2 type Nubian, it's something like that. So that was Royal, the Silver Royal ship, which is gorgeous, and there's a sleeker version in episode 2, but one of my favourite starships. Not starships, starfighters, because we've done starships. One of my favourite starfighters is the Naboo Starfighter. and I loved its return, albeit severely modded in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we can cope with modded versions, but yeah.
We can indeed,
that's-
especially when you've got a Grogu in the bit where the droid used to sit.
I like the Grogu.
no, it's lovely.
Grogu's cute.
So, yeah, no. Unless anybody has anything else to say,
No.
Olympus.
Over to Olympia. Is it me next?
No, it's you.
Oh, it's you.
It's
It's
your
like,
number
it's
3.
Olympia. No, I've forgotten to give you my number
Okay,
3.
but if we want to skip you, then let's go right on ahead.
But then I wouldn't have shared my number 3 pick with you all, and that would just be tragic because it is, well, my top number 3 planet. This planet has a similarity to Earth. This planet has a twin, which is very similar to Earth. Earth had a twin as well, a long time ago before it crashed into us and became the moon. So this is a gorgeous green-hued planet with
I know
beautiful
where you are.
mountains. You know exactly where I am now. Beautiful mountains. Again, lovely architecture. And you don't see a lot of it, which adds to the mystery of this species, and that's all on purpose. And it is, of course, Romulus. It's. I don't have much to say about this planet apart from the fact that I just think it's stunning. I've always been super intrigued and wanted to explore it, probably because they hide it from us so flippin' much. And yeah, I would love to. I'd love to be there, and even just hearing, because you hear some more about Romulus and Picard, and it's more about Romulan culture, I guess. But you hear them talking about their homes and how they had a door for guests and a door for family as well. I think that's how it worked. It was like, or was it like they've got a front door for guests and then a secret door for some other reason? I can't remember quite.
It was definitely a secret door.
Sorry, Ben.
There was definitely a secret door involved. I can remember the scene when that was mentioned. Was Soji? Was it Soji?
Might have
I think
been.
it was Soji Asher and the female Romulan who I cannot remember, that had been assimilated by the Borg. But yeah, I don't remember the rest. But yeah, there was another door and around the back where most people would enter.
Yeah. I just and I love seeing the cutscenes in TNG where you get the sort of just almost static image of the planet that you're on. Seeing the Romulan Senate in that type of image there, and I think you see that in Nemesis as well. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
I think I'm right though.
I believe you do. It's like a dome area. I think you even see it in Enterprise, maybe.
I think you're right. I think you do it, and there's some spires that sort of go around almost in a semicircular type thing. It's utterly beautiful. I want to go there. I want to explore it, and of course you can't in Star Trek Online because the flipping supernova blew it up.
Yeah.
And that's 2 planets. Talking about similarities, how we sometimes have planets which are similar, or choices, I should say, that are similar or the same without realizing it. There's 2 choices: Alderaan and Romulus. Both of them get blown to smithereens.
To be honest, at the moment, that is the nearest. Sorry. Yeah, that's the nearest we have to be similarities at the moment. I know we've got another one similarity coming up, but not the same. But yeah.
Ooh, intriguing.
Very. And on that note, I will pass on to Olympia for her number 2.
So my number 2 has been seen in multiple treks. I just think it's so beautiful and wonderful, and I'd love to go there because who would not want to visit a pleasure planet?
Pleasure planet, right? Good.
Y'all know what I'm picking. It's, of course, Rise Up.
Yep.
So I think you see it in so many episodes that it's this lovely place to go visit, but I love the comedy behind when they visit an Enterprise and, Trip and Reed get their clothes all stolen.
Oh, yes.
Because
That's
they didn't
brilliant.
listen and they didn't pay attention and they end up getting caught out by the aliens and in their skivvies in the basement kind of thing. And I just think it's so funny that even on a planet where it's a pleasure planet, there's beautiful beaches, there's wonderful things to explore, there is still, it's not perfect. There's still a bit of crime, and you still see that kind of side to it, so it makes it seem more real.
Yeah.
Precisely. Oh, I love it. And to do a bit of promotion for the end, I done a ranking on YouTube to go, what is your favourite planet? I could only pick 4, which with pictures, and Riser was one of them, and that's the first one we've come across so far in the pickings from that, and it was reasonably popular enough, and I will tell you the results later. But
Please do.
yeah, the scenery was lovely, but because of me, personally, I'm not a person necessarily to go to a resort holiday where they organise their say events and stuff and tour. Oh, I like tours. I do like tours, but it's it just seems like you're going to the Costa del Sol or Limassol or in Cyprus, and you just go in one of these resorts where you don't really go to the town nearby or the city nearby or go walking.
See, I think that's
It's a
kind of what
good-
I liked about it. I'm pretty sure you see Picard goes and does some kind of excavation and stuff, and there is a kind of history side to it as well, although it's not explored as much. I do like that. Am I spinning away?
No, you're not spent. It's more like you're leaning into the camera on this side.
My seat's a bit wobbly, okay? But I just think it's such a beautiful place, and sometimes you just need that few days of chill and then you go explore. So I thought it was a really
Agreed.
nice kind of bit of chill.
You're right. I love the humor elements of it, and actually, whenever I think of Riser, the first thing I think of is the episode where Picard is forced to go on vacation
Yeah.
and comes across Vash and ends up having this big adventure when he's meant to be chilling out and relaxing. And actually, he did have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
There were even Ferengi involved in that episode, if I remember right.
Who doesn't love a Ferengi?
Oh, we love Ferengi, especially if it's
Oh,
cool.
definitely. Yeah. And I suppose, yeah, I am probably similar like Picard. I'm not one necessarily to sit down for a long period of time at the pool. If I am, I'm bringing a book with me to read.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No.
Got a book.
Yeah. Or I'd be one of those ones who's happy going out and exploring and seeing the locations. Yeah, so... yeah, that was enough reason for me not to put it into my top 5, so I had to make some sort of rules, but I'm sure it'd be lovely there.
Definitely would. Love the choice.
Anyway, with that, we'll move on to Ben's number 2.
Yes, it is actually my go, isn't it? So
Yes.
I am going to go. I'm gonna say sort of return to Star Wars: The Old Republic. But I didn't realise at the time this actually has appeared in, I believe, a TV series and a film. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but this planet is called Osis, and in Star Wars: The Old Republic is a red desert with slight black outcroppings of rock. They almost look like granite to me, but a bit more blacker granite. And there's a Jedi temple around because was one of their original, or not one. I don't know if it is the original, but one of the original planets for where the Jedi were before Typhon and Coruscant. And in the game, this is where a load of Jedi and the odd non-Jedi, and I'm thinking Doc here from this Jedi Knight story here, was hiding out from the Eternal Empire, and it is famous for its library on the planet. It's a row of knowledge before Darth Malora and then Darth Malgus attacked the planet after the peace. Not after the peace, but after the end of the war with the Eternal Empire, and in that just after the peace that was they had with the Empire, the Republic had with the Empire. I just love returning to this planet. It's again the waterfalls. The rocks actually look. I know that sounds weird, but it looks nice. It reminds me of Dartmoor just up the road, which has its tours, which is like lots of rock outcroppings on it. The only thing that puts me off is the sand, but it's really red in the game, which actually
You're
I
not
love.
doing an Anakin Skywalker on us, are you? He hates
No.
sand too.
Gets
Why
everywhere.
makes sense? Sand makes glass.
Yeah, it takes ages to get it out everywhere when you come back from the beach.
Also
But-
true.
Yeah, this is very true.
But,
On your
no,
note
it
about
is-
the rocks, sorry, the note about the rocks. It's the one planet in the Old Republic I've noticed. Like the artists involved in designing it did a stellar job. They actually look real for a game like that. That rock, all the rock faces look almost real. They're brilliant.
Maybe that's why I like it so much. It reminds me maybe of the cliffs, and as I said, Dartmoor up on the edge. And there's this one view, you're standing on top of a waterfall, and you can see the gates to a massive Jedi temple with massive statues, which I believe is where the library is.
Yep.
And I believe there was like a supernova which made this green land all desert-like from the lore, which I was reading up on before this because I didn't know about it before to get more information. This is also where I found out. I'm pretty sure this is where Grogu went with Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
In the TV series, it was looking a lot more green, and you had this water area, like river, as the rocks in it.
Oh,
Getting
so right, okay, so that's the scene. That's the scene where I assumed that was where Luke had built his Jedi Academy, but it's not. So
Yes,
that's Osis.
I think it is. No, I think it is where he made his. Because they also mentioned that was where, with Ben, they turned on, and Solo turned on them. It was like I didn't have enough time to read it properly and go, but they definitely, when I was looking at this, referred to those two locations, and it was like I didn't know that. And
No, neither did I.
I hope I haven't missed something in the blueprint that this is slightly a different planet, but
No, I'm gonna take that as gospel. That's really, really interesting. Learned something new there.
No, and when I did this, it was just like I didn't know it was in official canon or in the TV live action canon. I just thought this was something completely unique to Legends in this, and it was just like, oh, I just want to find out where it's appeared more, and it was just like, ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But mine's and it's one of those planets I like to go back to and do the dailies for in it, and it's like I know some planets that I'm not fussy about, and I'm not fussy about going to do those dailies, but I love going back and doing the ones here, which is love it.
Beautiful.
I know both of you play the game. Any thoughts?
Oh no, I think it's a brilliant pick.
Definitely.
On you go.
I've not actually seen much of it. I've seen wee bits when you've been playing. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting, and I agree with the whole thing about the rocks looking quite smart. And apologies to everybody who's seen me like looking at my phone and things. I can hear the sound coming through here, but over here. And I was wondering where that was coming from. Like it was like almost like an echo, and I thought, is it coming out my phone speaker? There's no other speakers here. So
You are having some weird technical stuff
I
happening
cannot
today.
explain it, but I can hear it almost like in stereo, but like really quiet on this side, and I don't have a headphone in. It's over there, so in a box. So no idea.
Wow. Back to Osis.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favourite daily areas in Star Wars: Old Republic. I had no idea that was a planet that Luke and Grogu go to, and where he sets up his Jedi Temple in the new canon. So, I learned a couple of new things there too. And yeah, I think there's a lot more lore to explore in Osis. I hope we get to go back, whether it's in the game or whether it's in another form of media.
Oh, definitely. I would love to go. Like when they mentioned Typhon in Mandalorian, it was just like, wow, this is something I know from the game. It was just like they bring him back into reality, even though you didn't see any. It wasn't quite the same.
But
Great.
Typhon's a big planet. It is a big
It is.
planet, and yeah, the excitement that I felt when I heard that, and then when I heard the way they were going, then I saw it. Even just the fact that it being my number 2 top planet, says I'll very, very nicely sort of smoothly segue in and continue. That's my top 2 planet. It's utterly stunning. I got so excited when I realised in The Mandalorian that's where they were going. And yeah, it looks different, but I just put in my head canon it's a different part of the planet to what we experience in Star Wars: The Old Republic. I guess to kick off properly on that, again, the one of the things that always gets me is that calm, tranquil Jedi music, I call it, when you're on Tython, which is just serene and blissful. And it's a lovely way to start the game, especially if you're wanting to start off as a good guy. Excuse me. It's, again, a foresty planet. I seem to have a thing for foresty planets.
You like a forest?
I do love a forest.
You do love a forest.
It's got hills, forests, it's got mountains, it's got some cave systems, some beautiful, gorgeous waterfalls, and then the Jedi Temple architecture, which is absolutely stunning. A lot of lore on the planet, going back to the very beginnings of the Jedi as well, with some settlement remains there that you get to explore. Which, yes, it's just utterly beautiful. And the fact that they brought it into Disney canon, let's call it, so it's a real life canon rather than legends or anything like that, is it just adds to my excitement for the entire planet. I think it's utterly brilliant, and I really, really do hope we get to see more of it in future TV shows or movies for Star Wars. I really, really do. Ooh, the other thing I was going to mention about it as well, because I love it as a starter planet, and then, spoiler alert for anyone who's not played Star Wars: The Old Republic yet, later into the end game, you get to go back in a flashpoint and in the middle of a battle, and see Tython in a different way.
I'll say Typhon Under Siege.
Yes, that's what it's called. Yes, Tython Under Siege. It's a brilliant view of Tython, and again, actually, I was very excited playing through it. It was really good fun.
I really enjoying that when you try to match up, because it's slightly different, and it's like, same with Korriban. You're trying to match up the exact points you would be walking through as with your starter character, and it's just like, again, one of my favourite planets in the game. It's gorgeous. I of green fertile lands. I don't know. Lovely.
Really is. Any thoughts?
I think you pretty much said everything on it. It is a nice planet. Yeah.
I'd love to visit it, just without those flesh raiders.
Oh God, I hate the flesh raiders.
I know, right? Well, I'm not gonna lie. It's the only part of Tython in that game I don't like. Is of all the things you'd call them, why call them flesh raiders? It just sounds so.
Because they raid your flesh.
That one element just feels a bit wrong to me. But hey ho.
No, agree. And most of my ones at the moment, there's reasons why I wouldn't want to actually be there for a long period of time. Most is actually the sand, and again, there's bugs. Bug creatures running around after you because of Darth Maul. It was and Alderaan because it gets blown up, and Killix and
avoid the Killix and go to Alderaan a long time ago, rather than just a long time ago, and you'll be good.
Right, good.
Definitely. So, I suppose the next pick is Olympia.
Number 1.
My number 1. Okay, do we do number ones and then honourable mentions, or should I do my honourable mention?
Do number 1, then we'll all do our number 1s, and then we'll go into honourable mentions at the end.
Okay. So my number 1 is Earth, because if we didn't have it, none of us would be here.
Yeah, someone had to pick Earth.
I had to pick Earth. Somebody had to pick Earth at some point.
Definitely.
But like future.
And I suppose that's from the Star Wars trilogy, isn't it?
Sorry?
And of course it's in the Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, sure. I like seeing the kind of futuristic version. We've seen a few different parts, mostly San Francisco. We do see France. So I think it's quite nice, and you do see like other kind of pockets, and they talk about different areas and where people grew up and stuff. So, oh, was it Hawaii? How she was in wherever she was away visiting
Brazil.
Brazil.
No.
So you see some kind of really beautiful areas, and it's a kind of future take on how we currently are, which is nice because right now everything's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, no, I love San Francisco in the TV series. I really want to go to San Francisco's. San Francisco's? San Francisco. I would love to go there. See the Golden Gate Bridge. And I know was it, I can't remember which one, is it Picard, where you have the, I can't remember it, things that take the sun in.
Oh, those shields that are up in the sky. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think it was up in the skies. Where you get the energy from. Please edit this bit too.
Oh, the bit where you get the energy from.
Sun rays.
Oh, solar panels.
Nano panels. Sorry. And I love. I think it was in Picard where I'm sure there's solar panels on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
If you go, wow, that was.
Yeah.
Great.
Such a creative way of reusing and keeping an iconic landmark. One which Mariner in Lower Decks slags off to brilliant effect as well.
I think it's nice that we also visit Earth in different time periods. Like the whole time travel element. You've seen Toronto. Was it Toronto?
Yep.
That she visits in Strange New Worlds.
Yep.
You've seen was it LA that they visited in Voyager, like in the 90s?
That was somewhere in California, was it?
Yeah, somewhere in California.
Was it Los Angeles?
Was it? Was LA? Oh, so it was either Voyager. It might have been both of them actually. But where was the city in Star Trek: The Voyage Home? When they went back to save the whales.
I think that was San Francisco.
Oh, was that San Francisco? So yeah, that would have been LA and Voyager then, I think. Yeah.
So I just think it's really quite nice to see the different time periods, and you see Montana and First Contact.
Yes, Bozeman,
Montana. Yeah, so you get to see all these different areas and different time periods, which I think is really nice to see changes and things.
Okinawa in Picard.
Yes.
That's nice actually. Yeah, I know we have others, and I know it's an American TV show. So if it was a British like Doctor Who, they have British stuff all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had Okinawa in Picard, and what? Sorry, but I can't remember what we were saying there. But you had Okinawa in Picard and in Star Trek Into Darkness, talking about obviously American movies, so you don't see much of other places. But the start of Into Darkness, it dropped into London, which was phenomenal. I loved seeing the futuristic towers and the futuristic city with a couple of the architectural buildings that
if I remember.
that we have nowadays. Big Ben, I remember seeing Big Ben. I think we saw one of the was it Westminster Abbey or something like that as well. Like there's a couple of landmarks you can point out in the sort of skyscape, a couple of skyscapes they show you, which
I kind of love that they've kept so many of the, like the Golden Gate Bridge, you see Big Ben, you see all these things, because if you think in real life, Edinburgh, for example, the city's built on top of the old city.
Yeah.
So like you wouldn't see the landmarks because they're off the ground now, effectively. So I think it's quite interesting they've kept some of that stuff as if to say, like, you know what, it's still here.
Yeah.
And I know with like London, the City of London bit, and Westminster area, the City of Westminster, which is where the Big Ben and all the Houses of Parliament are, and those funny people who make funny sounds ruling our country.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that they don't have skyscrapers all around there, and I think there is a law there. So about that, and the bits that have the tall towers and stuff are either to the east of like Big Ben, St Paul's Cathedral, and south of the river as well. And another thing, there is this famous image from World War II of St Paul's Cathedral amongst all the smoke and stuff of the air raids and blitz. And people made so much effort during the war to keep that going as a symbol. I can imagine some of these buildings staying alive, and I can imagine some of the places even in Edinburgh, if the heaven forbid that kind of thing happened again, they would probably try to keep certain buildings as a
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
image in the old city bit of Edinburgh. Yeah, and as I was saying, I am glad that they've started to bring a couple of the other cities in, whether it's Toronto in Canada. I know they filmed a lot of stuff in that area. Whether it's Okinawa in Japan, London, and I'm probably Paris, Var, where Card's from. Even though you didn't really get to see Brazil. Yeah, I love being
I like that you see things that aren't just America.
Yes,
It's
that
like
is nice.
it's nice to see that they've not just went, yeah, America's everything. Everything is everything. You know,
Yeah.
everything else is still there.
Yeah.
The rest of the world still exists.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I know it's an American show, and like as I said, Doctor Who, that is all around. When they come back to Britain, but yeah, still, again, it's nice.
Because it's easy to film. It's cheaper to film because you're filming where you are.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Which is why there's so many planets that look like Vasquez rocks. As I said, in California and America. Remember that from the last episode we recorded?
I do, yes. I learned a lot that day as well. I didn't realise Vasquez rocks were used so much in Star Trek.
Yes, definitely are. You should listen to some of the Trek podcasts with the actors. Delta Flyers for Voyager and
Shuttlepod 1.
Shuttlepod 1. Both really great podcasts where the actors are talking about episodes and guest stars, and they do mention how often they use the same place for like 50 different planets.
Oh, I have to give that a look up myself. I only just got into, I think it was Shuttlepod run relatively recently, so yeah. So, anything else to say about this?
No, I think that's me. We'll move on to Ben's number one pick.
This one is a similarity to one of Olympus's picks, or at least at one stage in its lifetime was like one of the other Parisons. Yeah. This was a city planet at one point in its time before a certain Sith decided he wanted to completely blow it up.
I know what this is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for dancing.
And this planet, I don't actually know from the game that this is referring to, but I know it from the game that I found out about this, and I started learning about its history through Star Wars: The Old Republic. And this planet is Taris. I would love to see it as a big city planet, even though it's a multi-tiered, multi-class, and at times bigoted through racism for aliens. I would still love to see a city planet, and one of the main reasons another reason is on this is because of Terrace. It's like they're trying to make it, rebuild it almost, and all my characters are almost helping out to try to make it better when they come into the game. And there's that exploring that I love, the ruins of this planet. It's you've got lots of places to find. When I unlike another planet on this in Star Wars: The Old Republic, I don't tend to get too much lost in this because I can always find my way around. Whereas there's another planet where I always seem to get lost or stuck. And yeah, you're finding out about Revan, Malak. I forgot this Chosen Land.
The Promised Land.
Sorry, the Promised Land. The ships that are the ruins on here. You find out about these, and it actually intrigues me that I want to find out more and play this game. That is KOTOR and KOTOR 2.
See, that's what I was going to say. The KOTOR 2 won't take you into Taris, but I strongly recommend you play KOTOR 2 with the restored content mod installed. But play KOTOR first and play KOTOR. It's a phenomenal game, and yeah, you will get to experience Taris and its multiple layers before it gets blown to smithereens.
Yeah, it is almost my go-to.
It's a Star Wars thing.
Yeah, and it is my go-to one game that I enjoy. It's early on in the Republic storyline. I think it's the third. In theory, the third planet, but you can make it the fourth. And it's I think I can remember telling Olympus on one of his streams. It's like, I'll do all the side quests. I just love. And there is a nasty bit of work that is the governor at the time, Governor Stress, who comes up later in the story. Who is like, you can tell her heart's probably in the right place. Actually, no, her heart's probably not in the right place.
No, don't defend her.
She's probably trying to make herself. Yeah, she's probably trying to make herself better by making the planet better. But yeah, it's a character that comes into the game a lot later on, and
let's put it this way about Suresh. You could be playing a full light side playthrough, and you'll still pick the dark side option when it comes to the culmination of the story with Suresh. Every time. Oh yeah. And you know how much of an OCD I have. I'll pick the dark side option. She is a nasty piece of work.
Okay.
So
you know I'm going to have to play this and just pick the light side option just to prove you wrong. Yeah.
You disappoint me, Padawan.
I know, but then your actual Padawan put pineapple on pizza, so you know.
Yeah.
You're clearly failing.
I'm lost.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not that we're bad Padawans. Maybe you're just a bad teacher.
oh.
I love you, really.
That was right in the back, and it was twisted. Oh, I think that was more painful than watching Alderaan going.
I love you, really. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. So, back to Ben's amazing Taris. What a pick. I'm so glad you picked it. You know, I won't say too much more, but one of the things that I love, I've played KOTOR several times over. I absolutely love the game. One of the things I love, no spoilers. It's a 20-year-old game, but no spoilers. One of the things I absolutely love about Star Wars: The Old Republic when you go to Taris is the Easter eggs that you come across from KOTOR, because Taris is the first planet you play on KOTOR, and you're there for a wee while. But there's actually a side mission, to your point, Ben. There's a side mission dedicated to the ship that you start on orbiting Taris, and you get to go in and you follow through. But it's just so exciting going through the Endar Spire. You go into the look at you. She's not even played the game.
Watched you play it often enough.
Although you have played Star Wars: The Old Republic, but yeah, you actually get to play through it. So between that and then the side quest looking at investigating the Promised Land and whether the refugees in the Undercity were able to find the Promised Land or not, because that's where you send them off at the almost towards the culmination of the Taris part of KOTOR. So it's good to see that story wrap up too. It's utterly brilliant. I'm so glad you picked Taris.
And yeah, it's most of these are ones I would like to visit, and at one point Taris sort of was. I would just like to see City World. There was also the lore and the history behind it that I would like to hear more about and stuff like that. I don't know why. Oh, I enjoy it so much, but I do, and I just love the planet.
So do I. Brilliant pick. Thank you very much.
Shall we move on to your number one?
The last one. And I'm going to admit something, because I normally lock my picks down. I normally lock them down. I lock them down before we start the episode. I've changed the pick.
No, why did you change the pick?
Because we were partway through, and someone mentioned domed shaped cities. And all of a sudden my eyes went wide and I went, how did I forget that planet, which is one of my, well, it is my, at the moment, right now, top favourite planet in Star Trek and Star Wars. How did I forget it? And I'm so glad I remembered it partway through the episodes. I've changed it.
That's breaking the rules. It's
not, because it wasn't a rule that I set. I didn't set it. It doesn't count. I didn't break it. So this planet has domed architecture, which cities basically reside inside. There's a lot of cultural lore to this planet. A lot of, all probably borderline religious sort of tendencies, very strong culture, and a very divided culture as well. This species and people can be a bit volatile, and we know them most for their beautiful armor made of Beskar.
I know who you...
And Ben and Olympia just go, oh!
I haven't even seen it.
You've not even... Oh, well, I'll get an image up in the editing and you'll get to see it.
Okay.
I am talking about Mandalore.
Wow. Only found out about the domes relatively recently, semi-studying for this, so came across the domes of this, because the planet, I believe, wasn't taken care of brilliantly, and
indeed,
you see that in the Mandalorian as well.
Well, yeah, the elements of Mandalore that you see in the Mandalorian are post the Empire glassing the planet, to steal a term from Halo. I had to throw Halo in somewhere there. They, whatever happened, I won't go into too much detail around that, but the Empire bombed the planet from orbit to the point that the ground actually turns to glass at parts. It's just proper compression. It is pretty cool actually when you think of it that way, but utterly obliterated. And there was a lot of radiation afterwards, which meant that the Mandalorians literally the surviving ones had to up and leave the planet. And they thought for a very, very long time, we find out in The Mandalorian, after a little while, that actually the radiation has subsided, and they get to go back, and you see the destroyed, half-broken domes, the ruins of the cities. You get this real sadness in a way that you don't get with, like, the destruction of Alderaan, for example. Alderaan, it just gets obliterated and is no more. It's just an asteroid field. Whereas Mandalore's, it's almost like, dare I say it a bit grimly, but it's almost like a half-dead body. It's like a corpse almost that I believe they're going to try and start reviving, hopefully into the start of the next season of Mandalorian. And it was just, I just loved seeing that side of Mandalore. But the other side of Mandalore I loved to see was the side before the Empire obliterated the surface, which you get to see in Clone Wars correct me if I'm wrong. I think you might get to see it in Rebels as well. I'm not 100% sure on that, but definitely in Clone Wars, you get to see it in all its glory. And yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So that's my number one pick.
Oh, brilliant!
Awesome.
I love that. I don't know much about the planet other than what I've seen in the Mandalorian, um, and the reference that it is where the Mandalorian, or at least culture, was originated from. Yeah, I love the pick. I like it, and I would actually love to find out more about it, which is probably the same about most of the planets on this. Just to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And I'd love to visit it in its height of glory, before the tragedy that happens to it as well. And I think that's something I've found with most of my, in fact, yeah, probably all of my picks. They're planets I want to visit.
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. And yeah, and I get that. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, love to myself.
So, on that note, will we go through and sort of just summarize our list of
Oh,
our 5 through
yeah.
ones?
Thank you for remembering that. Yeah. So Olympia, what was your 5 again?
So my 5 were Alastria, which was from Voyager, and then Tahal Mirage. Then we had Sanctuary because I went naughty and went to the Orville.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Risa, and lastly, top pick Earth.
Shall we keep the order that we had? I will go with the gas giant that is Bespin. Then I went to Alderaan. Then I went to Naboo. Osis being my number 2 pick, and then number 1 being Paris. And this is my not the first clean sweep for a person in Duels Across the Stars, but my first clean sweep of one franchise.
There's a point, they're all Star Wars. I hadn't
Yeah.
even noticed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I managed to split between, since we had one person solely Star Trek, one person solely Star Wars, I managed to stay very firmly, well, not quite firmly in the middle, but this will.
I had an Orville.
You did have a Orville. I did forget, you did have an Orville, fair point.
Mm-hmm.
But generally Star Trek. So my picks might make the decider here in terms of which franchise wins today, but my number 5 was the Bunnycorn Hopping Planet of Nepenthe. Number 4 was the seat of the Republic and then the Empire's power, Coruscant. Number 3 was home of another empire, which is Romulus. Number 2 was the home of the Jedi for quite a long time, Tython. And then number 1, the home of one of my favourite species in both franchises, the Mandalorians, and that is Mandalore.
Yay. So if I do quick calculations here, I think there's 2 planets that were cities planets. There's 3 homes to the Jedi. If I've done my correct. 2 planets that were destroyed. And 2 planets that were completely still exist, but completely
Surface
obliterated on the
obliteration.
surface. And there was one, as I said, one gas giant out of all the rest you could actually walk on the surface. So, yeah. So the actual decider was Olympus, because if it Olympia could have made with her Orville pick, could have given the opportunity for it to be a draw, but Olympus's pick was the deciding factor. So 1 was the Orville, 6 was Star Trek, and 8 was Star Wars.
Well done, Star Wars. Star Wars hasn't won many of these, I don't think. It's only won a few.
I haven't got this up. And the thing is, if this was equal, I did have a decider.
Ooh.
As I said, was the vote from we had on YouTube. So keep an eye on that. Going to do this occasion, and this is still going to be active if you want to join in. There was 4 planets we had. In alphabetical order, there's Hoth, Risa, Tatooine, and Vulcan. So one of those were picked in the R1, which I'm surprised about. So, have any of you actually seen the vote go up?
I saw it when I voted a little while back. It was that long ago now. I cannot remember what it looked like at the time, but there was only 3 that had votes. 4 of them didn't. And I think 2 of them were drawing for first place.
Fair enough. So 4th place was Hoth with 10% of the votes. Oh, there was 21 people voting total.
Brilliant.
So at number 3 we had Vulcan with 14% of the votes.
Quite low.
Then we got it between Risa and Tatooine for the next. So any thoughts?
I think Tatooine's going to win simply because it's Tatooine.
I think Riser's going to win because Pleasure Planet.
Okay, come on then, Ben. Who wins?
Yeah. So one had 29%, one had 48%. So number 2 was Risa. So Tatooine number 1. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, thank you for anybody who voted. I hope to do this again and do something related to one of our episodes. So, yeah, thank you for all the people that voted on that. So, yeah, and each planet got more than 1 pick as well on this one. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
That's even better. Fantastic.
Oh, that's a point. What about our honourable mentions?
Yes, that is our next stop. So, would you like to kick us off, Olympia?
Yes, so I have one that I had written down and I have thought of a second one, but I can never pronounce it, so I might need your help.
No problem.
So my first honourable mention was Hesperia.
Hesperia, the planet of the Knights and Dragons from the Lower Decks.
Yes, because like Ren Fair planet. Who would want to go visit the Ren Fair planet?
That would be hilarious.
I mean, they have freaking dragons running around.
Lovely.
Come on.
That would be great.
Although how they make kings, that's a bit
Questionable.
yeah, a lot questionable.
Yes. To become king, you have to get up to the Moopsie.
I really hope there's not a movie involved. That would be a bit tragic.
It would be a bit horrible, wouldn't it? No. Have you seen Lower Decks, Ben? I forget.
Yes, I have.
Cool. So you know
Yeah,
all
I've seen
about
it.
how you create a Hesperian king as well. Then, if anyone watching doesn't know, just go watch Lower Decks, and then you'll realise it's hilarious.
My other one is the Alderaan planet. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but that's the one where number 1 comes from.
Oh, hang on. So they were native to the Delphic Expanse, but okay, their original settlement was on Volterra. It was located in the Volterra Nebula, but they have colonies across all over the place. I can't remember the name. They had Hetimit 9, but I don't know.
The name of the one they visit, but it's the one that they live in, and basically they're the only species that can survive there because they've had to modify themselves, and I think it's just a nice wee nod to overcoming your circumstances to survival and how you'll fight for survival and do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of very true thing in the human condition.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot too.
That's very deep for
It was. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of impressed when you came out with that, and I'm like, whoa.
My eyes are rolling in my head right now. Honestly, I'm surprised I came out with it too.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons why I love Star Trek. Is it's about the human condition.
Yeah.
There's various ways of talking about that, and that could be, or not could be. It is one of them. Yeah.
I agreed. Absolutely.
So,
Fantastic. Ben.
Ooh. Okay, so I had about 3 or 4 final lists. So the ones that were missing from there were, I think, Coruscant, Bajor, and the definitely one that got shifted out at the last second, and I forgot where I've written down because I think I've rubbed it out. No, it's Tokadana, which is the one where Moses Castle is in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, a
lovely
foresty
rock country.
planet.
Yeah.
I think foresty
ruins
planets
it.
take the one for today.
Definitely.
Yeah, and Moses Castle there, which is the cantina there. Love it. Also, ones that came close. There is one in the Theta 116 sector system, which is the 8th planet down, which is where the Royale take place in TNG, which is the stormy planet, which has this one small bit in it, which has oxygen.
Oh.
And there is a revolving door on this planet. You can see the storm up above, and there's this one old-fashioned revolving door from a casino/hotel, which is related to a book. This alien found this person, this astronaut from NASA, somehow made a buck up, and then when read this book from that he had, which to his own confession was a rubbish book, and made this casino for him to live in and hotel, which I would love to visit just as long as I can get out.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
astronaut.
exactly. You need
That's
to,
the
you need to
reason
be
I
able to
didn't.
leave.
I didn't want to. Also, the other one is from I had a Voyager pick, and that's the Demon Planet from Voyager.
Oh, yeah.
You ended up with duplicates originally of Harry Kim, and then the whole ship ended up with duplicates of everybody, and you saw that crew later that believed they were the Voyager crew, but found out they were from this planet. It's
Yeah, and they had to go
lovely.
back to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tragic episode, wasn't it, actually?
Yeah,
it was a really good one. Really good one, too.
Yeah.
Lovely one. And another one that got on my I considered, but you didn't see enough of it, was the planet that Pajem is on. In Star Trek, especially in Star Trek Enterprise, because you only saw the outside the front door. You see a little bit more in Star Trek Online, and you see the what's it? Monastery? I think it is not.
Yeah,
an
so
monastery.
I think the planet is actually Pajem, and it's a monastery on Pajem.
Fair enough.
I think that's how STO explains it. Anyway, I'm not sure how they explained it in Enterprise.
That's pretty much how they explained it in Enterprise. They visit the monastery on Pajem.
Right, cool, okay.
Fair enough. Yeah, and yeah, I would like to go there just for the monastery, to see the monastery, but yeah.
Well, to see the monastery or to see the Vulcan hidden listening post underneath the monastery?
Yes, if I want to find out about Andoria, I'll go to here.
You wouldn't go to Andorra, you'd go to the listening post.
Yeah. So, other than, again, my long list of notes of
Brilliant.
I won't bore you to death with that.
No, not at all.
Olympus, what are your...
I can't show you my list because it's digital. It's on my other screen here. I had quite a few, but I've limited it to 6. So we had Tatooine, just 6. Tatooine, Hoth, Kronos, Klingon homeworld, Andoria, because they're like my favorite Star Trek species. And to be fair, I didn't mention Hoth, but Andoria, Hoth, it's almost potato. Bajor, which is utterly stunning. I predicted you'd have Bajor on your list.
That was the Star Trek one that was literally I was trying to fit it on to the list, and
but
like,
Star Wars just beat it down.
Yeah, it's one thing that I like with Star Wars is I like lots of things, but it was how much you can see about some of these planets. You don't spend as much time in space as you do in Star Trek. And it's the same when you compare Star Wars: The Old Republic to Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
If you go to Bajor and there, it's
Flat.
quite small.
Yeah, it's small. It's not very. It doesn't feel like Bajor to me.
And I love it. And it was the first planet I went to and landed on that I didn't have to do for a mission. I think the first two I did for a mission was Vulcan, Pajam, and of course Earth. But after that, it was I got into space and I went, I'm going to Bajor. And yeah, I can't believe I didn't pick it, but I just had to pick the other rest. And
Too many choices.
Yeah, and I had quite a few green planets like Alderaan and Naboo already, and it was just like, I probably shouldn't do. Yeah, I love the greenery.
Yeah.
Did
And
we get to 6 yet?
no, my sixth one was my number one. And I will be honest, I changed this maybe when we hit choice number 3, I think it was. So it was before I heard of Olympia's choice, which is Earth. So we almost had a matching planet, but no, as I say, Mandalore beat it. As soon as I remembered, all of a sudden, my favourite planet was Mandalore. So
I thought, when I was doing my research, I actually came across a really interesting article that you might like.
Oh.
So it was from NASA's website, and it was top 10 Star Trek destinations chosen by NASA scientists.
Ooh.
It's an article from 2016, so it is a little bit old, so you won't get your newer ones. But it was really interesting. I won't read it all out because there's like paragraphs of text on each planet. But it goes through the planets and where it would be in relation to real life and whether they think it would be good and why. Which is...
Can you save this link so we can add it into the description?
Of course, it's on your iPad there.
Brilliant.
So I'll run through the list, just the headers of the planets. So the 10 they had picked was Vulcan, Andoria, Risa.
Oh, that's your number 3 on the list, was Risa. There you go.
The Shore Leave planet, Omicron Delta region. Nibiru.
Oh, Nibiru from Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yep. Wolf 359. I can't even pronounce.
That is Eminiar 7, which is also known as Vendikar. Oh, that was from TOS, I think. It was Captain Kirk one.
Remus.
Yep.
Next to
Janus
Remus,
6.
Yep, that's Janus 6.
And Earth, obviously.
They did have Earth on there too. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But it goes into a wee bit about like what the planet's like, what it's similar to, and some of the episodes it's been in and different bits about it. Not a lot of detail, but I thought it was quite an interesting read for me.
Yeah, I'll definitely be giving that a read.
It is. I'm sure I've had a YouTube video doing something similar, but not quite the same. And I'm sure Vulcan has twin suns, I think, in real life.
Does it? The actual star
yeah.
system. That'd be brilliant if it does.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I'm imagining that, but I'm sure I've remembered that from.
Trinary system of 3 dwarf stars about 16 light years from Earth.
3.
Could play host to exoplanets, but none have been detected there so far. The most massive is 40 Indari A, which would be what Vulcan would be.
So I'm guessing an exoplanet is like Earth.
Yeah, exoplanets are what Star Trek would call an M class. They're still possible for with staying in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes on a wee bit about the planet and what episodes it's been in, but an example of a real exoplanet being destroyed by its own sun, not vengeful aliens. So I think this planet would have existed, but it has actually been.
Oh. Well, there you go.
A hot Jupiter orbits things so close to its star that the atmosphere is being blown away into space, leaving a large detectable tail.
Pretty.
With a pretty picture.
A pretty picture. Show the pretty picture. It is a pretty picture.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say that you can see the reflection of my monitor on.
I'll tell you that
trying to look around the reflection.
No, thank you for that. We'll get that link added into the description as well. That'd be good. A very
And
interesting
when I
read.
was doing my research, I came across that, and I thought it was something interesting to see it from the point of view of real scientists.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh, I agree, and I found some of the, not completely. I didn't go down that rabbit hole, but I went down to the lore rabbit holes. Some of these planets. And
Yeah.
stuff. I enjoyed that.
I
Like doing
bet. Absolutely. And that concludes my honourable mentions as well. Have we missed anything before we do our shameless plugs?
How about I do a shameless plug? You should like and follow these wonderful guys because their podcasts are awesome and their streams are awesome and they're just generally awesome people. So like, share and follow. Shameless plug.
Thank you.
A little less shameless when it's someone else doing it.
No, thank you. So Ben, do you want to tell everyone where it is that they can find you?
So, if you're watching on YouTube, this is the main place you can find me. Click on my name below, it's not my name, but the account's name, which is TrekWars and Fantasy. I do Star Wars: The Old Republic playthroughs, also the cutscenes as well, which I've got shorts from Star Wars: The Old Republic, Star Wars in general, and Star Trek in general. If you want a couple of shorts clips from TV shows or films, we got this, of course. We're 13 episodes in, so you've got 12 other ones to follow. Also, I'm on TrekWars and Fantasy, or TrekWars Fantasy on Twitter because there's not enough letters in there.
Yeah.
To be able to do
Twitter
that.
just doesn't let you have enough characters to have the and.
Yeah. I do have a Twitch, which I haven't done for a while, but considering as of today I've eventually got my 100th subscriber, I would like actually to do a thank you. I would like to at some point do a live stream again and have it there, and you can see some of my old ones where I've got world building and stuff, and I'm muttering on. World building, Star Trek, Star Wars: The Old Republic playthroughs, and probably something else. And actually, it was a Star Trek Adventures playthrough with certain Olympus and Touch of Pink Fizz, who has a Twitch channel under that name and a YouTube channel under that name. And anyway, somebody else want to do a plug before I get carried away?
I might jump in for me then. So if you like sci-fi, which I hope you do if you're watching us or listening to us right now, then I share a variety of different sci-fi content, whether that's it's mostly gaming clips, and then also on Twitter, which I've been a little bit quieter on recently, but I share some articles and that on there too. So for anything sci-fi related, and especially gaming, you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, all under at Olympus0511. Do not put Olympus and then a space 0511, and do not just put Olympus, because if you do that, all you're going to get are videos of cameras. Exactly.
I can remember doing that myself, and it was just like, oh.
So yes, that is me.
Yeah, we will have the link in chat as well, so click on that. And Olympia.
I'm never really on streaming these days because I have a 3-year-old and a job, and this is all new for me, so I'm never got the energy. I do have a couple of streams on Twitch, and I cannot remember my handle for the life of me. What am I on?
We'll find it. And
Olympia 0511. I couldn't remember the numbers. It's on there.
It is
0511. It's on that nice wee screen in front of you. But generally, you'll see me pop in and out of Olympus streams, and sometimes I'm gaming right there while he's streaming right here. So yeah, I'm generally about, or I pop in and wind them up at the end of the night when I'm going to bed. So
yeah, that.
Yeah, that too. Mm-hmm.
I think we've mentioned it before, Stu's before, when we had him on, I'm pretty sure Olympia was hiding behind Olympus in that stream. So
yeah, you were.
I'm
Probably.
See ya.
I'm generally around somewhere.
Brilliant. Well, on that note, I will again plug the please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really, really means a lot, and thank you to everyone who's been watching and listening to us across YouTube and Spotify. It really means the world.
Thank you. No, appreciate it. And if you definitely get to this far, I really, really appreciate it.
Likewise, likewise. And special thanks to guest star Olympia for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having
you,
me,
yeah.
and hopefully I haven't scared you and you might have me back another day.
Absolutely.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and live long and prosper, or
May the force be with you.
Peace and long life.